Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So it's Monday morning, starting the week off right, mind, body, and soul. Hope you guys are staying on your program. This is how we get through. This is how we conquer addiction. This is how we conquer PTSD. This is how we manage our lives. Let's get into a topic today about our parents. Let's talk about our mothers. Men and their mothers. Mama's boys. I've been a mama's boy for most of my life, and I've had to learn how to not be, how to separate myself from my mother. I mean, it's natural. A lot of times a kid will pick a parent that they feel safest with or that they like the most. And that can turn into an unhealthy love affair if it's not checked. If a boy doesn't properly grow up and go out into the world on his own, he stays a child, stays under the wing of his parents. In my personal opinion, it's particularly harmful when it's the mother, when a boy over-identifies with his mother and is clingy to his mother's apron, even well into adulthood. This happened to me. My father was out of the picture when I grew up. And it was just me and my mom. And it felt very much like me and her against the world. We struggled. We lived in apartment projects. It was extreme poverty, welfare, one meal a day, no nutrition. I had malnourishment and eating disorders by the time I was 10 years old. My mother was incredibly weak, incredibly fearful and scared of everyone and everything in the world. She was thoroughly traumatized by my dad. My dad used to beat my mom every day, beat her in front of me. I grew up with an attachment to women and a fear of men because of watching that brutality. It can really hold you back. It can keep you from exploring the world properly. This sense of self-isolation that a lot of people go through is a childlike psychosis. It's a mentality of a child. For when they feel like things aren't going their way or how they wanted them to. Maybe you took a couple blows, you had a couple bad experiences, and people end up self-isolating at home. Looking at home as safety. Just like when you were a child. It's an association. It's a direct association. You feel like your home is your womb. A lot of these types of self-isolated people talk to their parents a lot. They may live with their parents. They may be at their parents' house all the time. They, at the very least, may be talking on the phone with their mothers every day, if not a couple times a day. I have a friend of mine who, unfortunately, he committed suicide in 2019. But he was horribly attached to his mother. Would call her several times a day. In fact, me and him used to go to lunch a couple times a week. He was a really good engine builder, would build engines, not only for race cars and for the top fuel circuit, but for motorcycles. And he was one of the best engine mechanics in the motorcycle industry, period. This guy, Glenn Ruger, had Ruger Racing. Me and Glenn would go to lunch. He would always drive because he was rich. Glenn would have these $80,000 trucks, and I have no problem driving around in an $80,000 truck. He would get these calls from his mother, and he would call his mother, just relentlessly. I can't think of a single time me and Glenn hung out where he wasn't either being called or calling his mother. Oh, hold on for a second, bro. I just got to make a quick call. Hi, mommy. This is a grown man. 58 years old. Hi, mommy. I love you, mommy. I'd just be sitting there just like, God damn, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? You ever going to grow up or what? And he had a childlike kind of naivete, kind of a childlike nature to him that was cute, but annoying. When you run into somebody who's overgrown kid, it's annoying. And I used to wonder, what was this about? This naive persona, this overgrown child that Glenn had remained. I want to say turned into, but that implies that he was an adult and then somehow regressed. He never reached full manhood. He'd be so mad if I said that with him in the room. But he never reached full manhood. Glenn committed suicide the day his mother died. It's really sad. He couldn't take it. He had never cut that umbilical cord. He never cut the cords of attachment to his mother. And when she died, he regressed into this little boy, and these emotions flooded over him of, I don't know if I can handle this alone. Just like if you were a child. Imagine if you were 5 years old, 7 years old, and your parents abandoned you. Kicked you out of the car at 7-Eleven and drove off. And you're just standing there like, what the fuck? This is how he felt, abandoned. Little boy abandoned. He went up to Connecticut, where his mother's from, to take care of business, as a son would do. When he was up there, he got overwhelmed by emotion and hung himself. Grabbed an extension cord and made a noose out of it or whatever, hung himself from the rafters in the garage of his mom's house. When I heard that, I felt sorry, obviously, that my friend had killed himself. I felt sorry that he was in so much pain and in such a position in his life where he felt like that was the option. But a part of me felt somewhat angry at Glenn. The same kind of anger I get, frustration, I think, is a better way to put it. Frustration is more accurate. I was frustrated with Glenn because of his weakness, of his lack of manhood, of his dependency. His weakness led to his suicide. I didn't feel sorry for him. I was kind of angry with him, frustrated with him when you see your friend make a mistake and you're just like, God damn it, dude. What the fuck is wrong? What are you thinking, man? That's what I would say if I was in heaven and I got to see Glenn. First thing I would just smack him and be like, you bitch. The fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you be a fucking man? I get frustrated. I get angry at this type of weakness. It's unnecessary. We have to allow ourselves to develop, and part of that development comes from branching out into the world on our own in a dangerous, alone, kind of lonely, dangerous way. We leave the comforts of our parents, of our home. We leave that home-cooked meal for possibly starvation and malnutrition. We leave the roof over our head for possibly sleeping in the elements, in the rain and the storms and being cold. We leave the comforts of home. That's what is the beginning of manhood. You have to do this physically, obviously, but mentally it's the most important thing. Don't go to your mother's house to do your laundry. Don't go there for meals. You're not a kid anymore. It's time to grow up. I think that this message is important for 20-year-olds. It would have been important to me at 20. If I could hear this message right now at 20, I might be sitting there thinking and being like, maybe I am too attached to my mother. Maybe that's holding me back. Maybe part of my troubles with survival is due to my attachment to my mother. That's something to think about, isn't it? It's frustrating to be an overgrown child. I got so frustrated with myself and my childlike nature that I went through the sometimes painful and uncomfortable transformation from childhood to manhood. I mean, I had gone through that transformation in many other ways. There's no absolutes in life. My buddy Glenn was very much of a man in some areas of his life. He had kids. He was very much of a man in some areas of his life. But with this relationship with his mother, it kept him overall. The overall picture I would paint of my buddy Glenn was somebody who was horribly stuck in the past, in a place of development that was no longer serving him, that he should have let go. And it's important to be humble enough to recognize areas of our lives where we are stuck in our forward movement, in our growth, in our development. Did you develop an over-attachment to your mother? If we do this as an adult, we make her our lover, our girlfriend, our wife. We replace our fathers. It's Oedipal. You do this unconsciously. It's not a conscious choice. I'm not talking about pervert shit or whatever your favorite videos are on pornography. But that's another one. You know, you get these guys with mommy issues, and guess what they watch? I mean, I've researched this. I've Googled this. They watch incest porn. Incest porn is the most popular form of pornography. It's the most Googled type of pornography video is fucking your mother. That's the number one thing people want to watch is 20-something-year-old skinny boys. I call them boys. I guess they're men. Fucking 45-year-old, 50-year-old women. That, I mean, you may be like, really? That, Google it. That's the most watched shit on the internet. Why? Why? It's Oedipal. We have an entire generation of overgrown babies attached to their fucking mothers. So I'll end the video here. It's time to grow up, son. It's time to grow up. Thanks for watching.